All right, let's talk about Secret Invasion Episode 2 with spoilers. So, of course, if you have not seen the episode, go watch the episode now and then come back again to watch this review, unless you want to be spoiled by it. So, yeah, so let's get into it. So, this episode 2, Secret Invasion, I really like this episode. This might be, or not might be, but it like for me, it's definitely one of the best episodes of a Marvel TV series on Disney Plus, because it showed more of a maturity to this, I guess, to the show. I mean, the show was good. The show was mature already from the first episode, but I feel like we even got more into like the kind of mature, like the kind of mature content that this show is going to provide for Marvel. So yeah, that's what I really liked about this episode. First thing we start off with in this episode is a flashback from 95. I think it was like 1995, I think, where we meet Gravik for the first time when he was like a little kid Skrull on Earth. And yeah, I was kind of thinking, was Gravik in Captain Marvel? Because I was kind of like thinking back, like, was he one of the other Skrulls in there? But he wasn't. Of course, they introduced him right here. Or this is when he first was, I guess, introduced to Nick Fury. And yeah, I thought that was cool. And with the promise that Nick Fury gave to him and the other Skrulls about him finding another place for them to live. Yeah, it gets like, that's what's on Gravik's mind. And that's why, yeah, he's kind of maniacal now. He's going against Nick Fury and what he was promising. So yeah, it really shows you like the definitely like the motivation that Gravik has. So I thought that was a cool scene because yeah, there was a little bit of context I was missing with that with Gravik. I'm glad they showed that here. And also moving on to the Nick and Talos scene on the train. And that was it was a scene in this episode. It was one of the two scenes in this episode that really showed that you have two talented actors like having these conversations with one another. And I thought this was a really good scene with like Samuel Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn because both are, I think, great actors. And yeah, it starts out very light, of course, with like Nick Fury goes into his like stories, of course, and then yeah, he's getting Talos laughing, and then he comes hard with them, and he's asking him, "What have you not?" Or he was asking like, "What have you not told me? What have you not revealed to me?" And then Talos is like, "Yeah, we had Skrulls come down while you were gone, I guess. Like, we have a million Skrulls on Earth, and they're all shape-shifting. Like, you don't know, like, nobody knows they're here." So, and with these Skrulls being here, what is that going to do with MCU moving forward? Because I feel like Skrulls are going to pop up in different movies, probably. So, yeah, I got to assume, like, maybe an Avenger is going to be a Skrull. So, yeah, I was going to talk about more of that later, maybe. Because I think people think that Rhodey might be a Skrull, possibly. But yeah, I'll get to that probably, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, Skrulls are here. I almost feel like that might be a better like storyline than the multiverse. I don't know. But we'll see. But I hope it's a bigger part of the MCU moving forward. Also seen with Nick and Maria Hill's mother, of course. Like that was good. That was definitely kind of a tough scene. And yeah, it kind of confirms that like she did die, of course. Because I know people were saying like, oh, it could be a Skrull or she's still alive, but nah, they killed her off. I mean, with the multiverse, they could probably bring back like another Maria Hill, but yeah, it's like this one on the current universe is, yeah, she's dead, and I'm glad they're keeping it that way because that like it really adds to the story. Also, with Gravik going to the Skrull Council, we see that there's a few high-profile people that are actually Skrulls, like the British Prime Minister and the was a NATO commander, and even Shooter McGavin, who's like a news, like a, I don't know, like an opinion news person. Yeah, they're kind of riffing on like Fox News on that right there. But yeah, Shooter McGavin's a Skrull. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to see him in this. So yeah, but he didn't really speak that much, I guess. But I guess his part's not like a big part, I guess. But it's cool to see, yeah, like Shooter in here. So yeah, and I'm kind of wondering like what other like, because I feel like the president, like the U.S. president in the show, probably is a Skrull, because we know moving forward that Captain America, that Harrison Ford is gonna play Ross as the president. Like he's gonna be the president of that movie. So I feel like the president who is played by Dermot Mulroney in this. I feel like he's either a Skrull or he's probably gonna die. So yeah, that's gotta like because Harrison Ford's gonna be the president in Captain America. That comes out like next year. Was it next year or 2 years from now? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like that like the U.S. president is probably gonna be a Skrull too. So yeah, and I mentioned Rhodey too because like Rhodey, I feel like some people were thinking Rhodey could be a Skrull. Like he's in here, of course, and I was kind of thinking that too. But I was kind of thinking back to maybe like the Civil War where he dropped from the sky, and when he hit the ground, I think like it would have been revealed that he would have been a Skrull there probably. I don't think they plan Skrulls to be part of the MCU now, so that would be a big retcon, I guess. But yeah, Rhodey Nick Fury conversation, of course, was like another conversation between like two great actors, like with Sam Jackson and Don Cheadle. And I like this conversation so much. The scene was so well written, like this show has been so far. I thought, okay, this is a good scene with them kind of going antagonistic against each other because yeah, you see like two heroes we root for, and they're having this like tough like conversation right here. I mean, it's definitely like Civil War with Tony and Steve. So I thought, okay, this is cool. And also Nick Fury brings up a good reason why they don't want to get the Avengers involved, because they don't want them to be duplicated by Skrulls and then they're labeled as terrorists. So it's like, okay, that was a great reason. So I like that. And I like that at the end where Sam Jackson or like Rhodes says, like, Rhodes pretty much fires him, and then Nick Fury is like he comes at him and says, even when I'm out. Oh man, I thought that was like, okay, that was cool. That was more cool from Sam Jackson eating up that scene right there. So yeah, it was a great scene. It was a great scene between like Don Cheadle and Samuel L. Jackson. Good to see Don Cheadle as Rhodey in here because he did have a cameo in like the first episode, and he has a bigger part in the second episode. Hopefully he has a bigger part moving forward. And I know this is going to lead into Armor Wars, so yeah, I'm guessing Skrull is going to be part of like that show too. And Olivia Colman is eating up the scenes she's in also, because she goes in and interrogate the Skrull, and right away she just cuts up his finger, and that was kind of shocking to see in like a Marvel show, Marvel whatever. It was like, wow, okay, we're dialing this up a notch, and it really is getting more violent. Even with these like guys are getting like at the end of that scene being shot in the head. It was like, wow, okay, yeah, this is getting up there in the violence for like a Marvel property or like an MCU property, I guess. Because we've seen other like violence in Deadpool, Logan, but we haven't seen this kind of like violence in an MCU property. So I thought, okay, we really are going up there right now. So yeah, that's cool to see. But yeah, Olivia Colman is fantastic, and like I really like her character. Her character is like so sadistic. She's very nonchalant about these things. She has a smile on her face while she's torturing this Skrull, and it's like, wow, okay. And even with like the other Skrulls coming in, she's not even phased. She's like, okay, that's my cue to get out of here. So yeah, I love her character so much. I feel like she's more in that gray area where she's not really like a villain, but she's not like she's not really a good guy, but like she's definitely a character that's fun to watch when she's on screen. I thought, okay, yeah, I like her character in this. And that Skrull did admit to them having a machine where it looks like they want to turn someone into a Super Skrull. Most likely, of course, with Gravik, because I think we kind of see it in the trailers. And it looks like they're going to combine the DNA with Groot, Frostbeast, Cole Obsidian, and Extremis. So yeah, that was like, because we saw it in that computer screen where like Emilia Clarke as Gaia, that was her character's name, right? But she looked up on she looked up on the computer, and I guess they have DNA from each of them, and I wonder how they got them, because I guess with like Skrulls being on Earth, I guess they got this DNA somehow. So yeah, that's kind of weird. And we see when I saw Groot, I was like, wow. So we will see Gravik as a Super Skrull down the line, probably in like the finale or second to last episode. We'll see. We'll see when that does happen. But we close out this episode with Nick Fury having a Skrull wife, because he goes home and we see her as a Skrull, but when like Nick Fury comes home, or right before he comes home, she turns back into her human form. So I'm wondering, does Nick Fury know she's a Skrull? Because I'm like, okay, wouldn't she be like comfortable around Nick Fury to like to be a Skrull if he would have if he came home? Or maybe he's like, yeah, you better be human when I come home. So I'm like, okay, like what is this? Does he know? And I was also kind of wondering, is it the Skrull from the Skrull from the beginning, where she's the one who introduced Gravik to Nick Fury? So yeah, I'm kind of wondering. But yeah, that's kind of weird because I was like, wow, Nick Fury's married after all this time. He's married, and is he live in London because he kind of just picked up a car and went over to like that home. So I don't know. Maybe that's probably in like, I don't know, somewhere in Atlanta or something like that. 2 episodes into Secret Invasion, I'm really liking it so far. With the second episode being one of my favorites of the Marvel shows so far. So yeah, it was a really good episode. So yeah, hopefully this is like as good as it's been going forward. And hopefully they do stick the landing, because I feel like with some of these Marvel shows, they don't really stick the landing too well, even when they're going strong. And for this 2 episodes in, I think it's going strong. Hopefully it continues to go strong, and hopefully they do stick the landing. So yeah, so tell me what you think about these, like this episode and the first 2 episodes overall. Are you hooked on this episode? Are you hooked on this show? So yeah, tell me what you thought about the episode, and until next time, I'll see y'all later. Rebel out.